Hello everybody, this is Winterbrose. In this video presentation, we're going to introduce you to 3D meshes that you will encounter and have to know the basics of. This is the foundation for 3D modeling. We'll go over the three basic components for all 3D meshes. You have the vertex, which is just basically a point, and you can just think of that as a dot in space, or any vertex would be just like putting little dots on here. Hold on a second, we'll make it a little bit bigger. Here you go. Well, you can just think of vertexes, a vertex, vertices is the plural, as points in the 3D space. Then, of course, now an edge is going to be a line that connects two vertices. You'll always have to have two vertices for every line. So we'll demonstrate here. So that blue in the 3D would be an edge connecting two vertices. Like I said, every edge has two vertices for the edge itself, the starting and ending vertice. And then, of course, the third component is a face. And what we'll do for the face is we will go ahead and we'll go back in here, and we'll just a face basically is a plane that connects three or more edges. So in this demonstration, we'll go ahead and draw out a nice little area here, and we'll put three vertices with three edges. Now when you're working with 3D meshes, you can have in the 3D space, you could have three vertices and three edges without a plane in the middle. It would just be open. But if you want a solid surface between them all, that would be the plane, and we'll just go ahead and fill in. So that would represent the plane there. So you don't always have to have a plane between these shapes, but if you were going to, that's how it would look. So basically, we'll go over again. A vertex is just a point, or if you want to call them, and if multiple terms vertices. Sometimes you hear them called verts. Of course, an edge is a line that connects two vertices, and then of course a face is a plane that connects three or more edges, and of course those edges themselves are connected by two vertices each. Before we get off into our 3D application and give you some real-world demonstration of the vertices, edges, and faces, we're going to go ahead and cover a little more on faces here. In 3D, you have what we call triangles, or tris is what most people call them. It's just basically a three-sided plane or face. It'd look like that. Of course, they can be any shape. I mean, it's just basically any face that has three sides. Now, it's got a tri is actually a face. So if you had three edges without a face in the middle, that's well, I guess that would still be it's still a tri whether there's a face or not. So that's how it goes. So basically, you're just talking tris are just basically anything with three sides. So they're pretty easy to remember. A triangle, tri, pretty well sounds the same. However, then we also have what they call quadrangles, or commonly referred to as quads. And basically, a quadrangle is any shape with four edges. That's a square with four sides. Four edges, four sides. Doesn't matter what the shape is. They'd all be considered quads. So what we'll do is you can make any shape with four, and they'll all anything with four sides is considered a quad. And some applications prefer tris, and some prefer quads. So it all depends on the application that you're working with. But like I said, let me escape on there. So it depends on what you're doing. Anything with four edges or four sides is called a quadrangle or a quad. And then lastly, we have multi-sided polygons that have more than three or four sides. And these are commonly referred to as ngons, n being like a variable unknown number of sides. So basically, if you had a shape, let's go ahead and draw one here, with let's say 5 sides, that would be an ngon. And it doesn't matter what the shape is. It could be, you can do any kind of There's 5 sides, but of course it can be 6. Like I said, ngons are anything with more than 3 or 4 sides, and not all applications in 3D actually like ngons because they're harder to render and calculate, and it takes more time. So for most applications, you'll be limited to either tris or quads, but just want you to know what an ngon is because they are created in some apps, and we might even demonstrate that for you later. So now we're going to move on to a 3D application and actually show you some of those things that we were talking about. So for this demonstration, we're using Blender 2.78b. So you can see here in the middle, it starts up with a cube. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the wireframe mode, and you can see if you looked at this cube here, we're going to go to edit mode. And what we'll do is when we go to edit mode, you can see the different things. Now down here on the bottom, you see this little dot that represents vertex. This little selector is for edges, and this little selector is for faces. And so what we're going to do is go ahead and show you. So you can see here we can select different faces inside this cube. Remember, a face is a connection. Actually, it's a plane that connects 3 or more edges. Of course, those edges have to be connected together. There can't be no open space in them. So we look at the planes here. You can see this has got different planes on it, and we can select them individually. So we'll go down here and we'll go to the selector for edges, and you can see these different edges that are inside this shape. And then, of course, we'll go to vertices, and vertices will be these little points on all the corners. You can see there, different points. So like this line here, let me go back and select this line. This line here is a connection, edge, is a line between these 2 vertices, and you can see they're highlighted when I went to verticing mode. These 2 at the top and the bottom here. So vertices, vertices, edges, and faces are your main components for any mesh. Now it doesn't matter what kind of design they are. Hang on a minute, we're going to delete, we're going to go to face mode here. We're going to delete this face that's up on top. Well, let's go out of edit mode real quick. I want to show you something, and then we'll go out of wireframe mode. We'll turn off this see-through option here. Hang on a second. Turn it back off. There it is. So there you go. You can see these are all solid edges, faces, connecting every edge, and then of course there's an edge connecting every vertice to make this cube. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some quick modifications just to show you. We'll go here really quick to vertex mode. We'll click that vertex, and we're going to grab it. Now we're not here to teach you how to use Blender, but you can see how we've stretched this. So we can move this vertex here around, and we can leave it there. And you can see that there's still a face plane connecting that, and you can see it's flat. Like I said, in 3D, faces are usually flat. This one looks like it's curved, actually. I'm sorry. Okay, and there you go. That was the reason. Okay, if you look how this plane kind of goes between these, it bends here in the middle, and it's a quad, and that's why a lot of 3D programs might prefer triangles over quads, because in a lot of them, there actually would be an edge connecting this top corner here to this top corner over here. So depends on the 3D application you use. This plane actually bends when, so it kind of, that's part of the quad definition. Whereas with the triangle, you'll never get that if you use tris. Like I said, it all depends on what your end 3D app is. So we'll go real quick and we're going to show you. Well, we're going to go to face mode. We got that face selected. We're going to go ahead and delete that face. And you can see that those 4 vertices still exist. They haven't been deleted. Excuse me. You're not required to have a plane connecting 4 edges. Depends on what the design of your 3D model is. You can see this looks like now like an empty box or a box without a top on it. And so, and likely you can also delete edges. Now remember, a plane is dependent on an edge to exist. So we're going to go ahead and click this edge right at the bottom here, and we're going to delete it. And see what happens is those planes, those faces disappeared because the face is dependent on being connected by a contiguous line created by edges. No matter what shape it is, whether it's a tri, a quad, or an ngon, it has to have edges all around to exist. And likewise, you can see this. We're going to select this edge right here. This edge exists. That's real part of this 3D mesh. However, we're going to show you how its existence is dependent on the two vertices that created it. So what we're going to do is we'll click this one here, and we're just going to delete that one vertice, and you'll see how that edge actually disappeared. And there was a lot of other things dependent on that vertice. We'll just do an undo real quick. You can see there was a plane back here that disappeared when we deleted it. Since that vertex connects is on that edge and on this edge, they all disappeared too. So we'll go back and delete them. Delete it again, and we'll show you how that happened. Let's go ahead and delete it. And then you can see everything that was dependent on that one vertex to exist is now gone, and it's no longer part of the mesh. So when you start your 3D modeling, this might give you a better understanding of vertices or each vertex, edges, which are the lines, and then of course the faces, which are the planes that connect edges. And don't forget, there's a variety of them. We recommend you stick to tris or quads. As you get more advanced, you'll learn what you can and can't do with whatever 3D application you do use. Well, we hope you enjoyed this video presentation, messing around with meshes, the basics, 3D basics for starters. Just a real quick overview. The three main components are vertex, edge, and face. Faces can have different shapes. They can be a tri or a triangle, a quad or quadrangle. They can be a polygon, or which are called ngons, when they have more than an undetermined number of sides, which is usually 5 or more. And we demonstrate with Blender. It's a good app to start with because it is free. Like I said, we hope that this piqued your interest in creating 3D models, and have a great day.